This week, schools across Alberta began reopening their doors to students, operating under Alberta's robust school reentry plan. I want to offer my sincere thanks to teachers, administrators, staff, and school boards for the tremendous amount of work put into making this reentry plan possible. Our comprehensive reentry plan, which was developed in consultation with our education system, which has support of our school superintendents and school boards, and was reviewed and approved by our Chief Medical Officer of Health, will allow our students and staff to return to school safely with important public health and safety measures in place. Last week, the federal government announced that they would be transferring funding to each province to support a safe return to school. Alberta's share of that fund is approximately $262 million. The majority of this funding, $250 million, will be distributed to school authorities based on a per-student model. School authorities, based on the parameters set out by the federal government, must use this funding to support additional COVID-related costs in one or more of the following areas: staffing, adapting learning spaces and personal protective equipment, cleaning and safety considerations for schools and buses, supports for special needs students, and online learning and teacher training. The remaining $12 million in funding will be dedicated to support school authorities who are seeing a large influx in enrollment due to increased demand for their online and/or distance learning programs. Since last week's announcement by the federal government, I've had numerous conversations with education stakeholders, school boards, disability advocates, and school administrators about how this funding would be best used. Based on those conversations and the guidelines of the federal government, and the guidelines which the federal government has set out, I believe that this approach is the fairest and most equitable way to disperse the funding. I have directed my department to ensure this funding immediately flows to school authorities once it is received from the federal government. They will be transferring the funds to the province in 2 phases, once in September and once later in the school year. I want to take this opportunity to thank the federal government for supporting a safe re-entry of students not only in Alberta, but right across Canada.